This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
It is the end of the year, so Pooja and I thought it'd be a good time to jump on and look back at our favorite segments from the Pooja and Gurdeep Show of the year, the stuff that had us side-splittingly laughing, the stuff that, you know, sometimes you plan out a segment and then it kind of goes to plan, but it goes off the rails, which makes it 10 times funnier.
Well, I think people often ask us, if we're pulling back the curtain, how much do we know in advance about what we're going to talk about? And the truth is we kind of have a topic. We know what we want to talk about, but we don't know where the conversation is going to go. So a lot of the time that you are hearing us cracking up, like we are crying, we're tearing up in real time.
Yeah, I wish you guys could hear everything that was said sort of when the light goes off as well. And that's what we want to try and let you in on here a little bit. When people ask me that question, like how much do you plan? Do you know what you're going to say? I always say it's like Curb Your Enthusiasm. The way they shoot that show is like Larry David knows the basis of the scene. They know how the scene should start. They know how the scene should end. But everything that happens in the middle is improv between his actors. So like you might know the scene starts in a coffee shop and the scene ends with him spilling coffee on a woman and she slaps him. Everything that happens in between is up to, and that's kind of what we do. We know what we want to talk about and where we want to end.
Yeah.
We don't know where it's going to go.
You fill the middle, like you know where we're starting, you know where we're ending. And for you, you fill the middle with, let me make fun of Pooja. That's your go-to.
That goes both ways, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's what we do in our friendship, and that's what makes it fun. But there are certainly moments that stand out in the last year, and I think it is hard to pick just one because it's like your kids. You love them all equally.
So we've picked four. we were supposed to do one each, and instead we have four. This is something we do. This first one is something we do occasionally on the show, a club in the bag, if you will. It's called Backwards Breaks. I don't know how this started and why this started, but every time we do it, we think it's the best one we've done, and we're all crying laughing.
Yeah, I hope it's one of those things where like we think it's hilarious and that you also think it's hilarious and it's not just us.
You can let us know in the comments. How about that? Leave a review. So this is where we get a sentence. Our producer gives us a sentence backwards, and we have to mimic it. And usually it's a phrase that you say your part backwards, I say my part backwards. We listen to them. They sound insane. And then we flip them around and play them forwards, and we see how close to the sentence we actually got.
Yeah, and sometimes when we do this, we know what the sentence is in advance. In this particular one, we had to actually guess what the other was saying. So this is us breaking up.
Enjoy. As Pooja told us yesterday, it's the month of love.
I love love.
There we go. But look, maybe love isn't in the air for you. Maybe it's not in the cards for you right now, and that's fine. Pooja, you are my work wife, which we established yesterday. Mm-hmm. We're not just work friends. I'm your work husband.
And we don't get each other gifts.
But what if we had to break up with each other backwards?
This is one of those games that I wish everybody had access to be able to record themselves backwards. We're basically given a line, a breakup line, and we have to record it backwards, hoping that when we play it forwards, it's the breakup line we were assigned.
I think it's 2024. I'm pretty sure this is pretty basic technology anyone can do with an app on their
Can
phone.
they?
It's not. I wish people had access to this.
know.
It's you could just get an app. It's not that crazy.
Okay, if you can do it, do it
you
at your next party.
Yak Packs when you were a kid? We had those when you were like 8 years old.
Oh, no.
The difference is that somebody said, like Blair sends you it backwards. Because if
we
you
have
do it
to
yourself,
mimic it.
you already know what you're saying.
Yes.
So he's sending it to you backwards. So you have no clue what you're actually saying once it goes forwards.
So, Pooj,
it.
this is me breaking up with you in real time backwards. And what you need to do is decipher what my reason is for breaking up with you. Have a listen.
Okay.
Ray Rooknam Nosik Woofit Nimya.
What? Sounds like you're woofing to coffee.
I have kennel cough.
Ray Rooknam Nosik Woofit Nimya.
Whoa, and you sound mad about it. Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
That was musical.
Ray, muffin.
It's like we're in Mervish and I'm breaking up with you through song.
Ray Rooknam Nosik Woofit Nimya.
Whoa. Okay, I'm going to go with it's not me, it's you.
I mean, if this on my career.
What?
I mean, if this on my career.
What?
Come on, you can't tell what I'm saying?
No. What?
Come on, listen. This is why we're breaking up. You don't listen.
I mean, if this on my career.
Oh my, I have no idea what's wrong.
Steph, do you hear it?
Yeah, I do.
Why did we break up?
He needs to focus on his career.
I mean, if this on my career.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
my gosh.
Pooj, I need to focus on my career.
What happened to you?
You're getting in the way of me focusing on my career, which is this show.
Why does your voice sound like that?
I need to focus on my career.
You need to focus on speaking if this career is going to go well for you.
Okay, so why are you breaking up with me, Pooj?
Okay, this is me backwards.
Safushnevu marunitia.
I know, that's a beautiful language. Yeah.
One more time?
Safushnevu marunitia.
You're so serious about it. I didn't really break up with you, just so you know. It's just a game.
Safushnevu marunitia.
I need some space, or you have to move out or something. I hear a V in there.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm focusing.
You know me backwards.
Yeah, see, I listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Forwards. This is what I'm saying forward.
Hai ninuram uven shufas.
Oh, dear.
Oh, whoa, hold on. Say it again.
Hai ninuram uven shufas.
You think things are moving too fast?
Yes.
Hai ninuram uven shufas.
It's ironic that you think things are moving too fast, but you spit that sentence out so slowly.
Hai ninuram uven shufas.
I think I realize in this process that you're really good at figuring me out backwards and forwards when I'm speaking a different language.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you broke up with me or just put a curse on me.
I need to focus on my career.
Hai ninuram uven shufas.
That couple might have been made for each other.
Yeah, let's stay together.
Deal. I'm laughing again listening to it.
It's so true. It's just because we sound so ridiculous. Something happens to you where you kind of sound like Homer, but then you're like Dutch. You got a little bit of an accent going on.
I have a little Dutch Homer. You sound like you might be from Eastern Europe when you're doing yours. Yours is very staccato.
And high pitched.
Yeah, but I will say, my bias, or does mine sound more on point when you flip it around?
Oh, come on.
Steph?
Come on.
Who sounded more like it should have?
It depends. That one sounded more, you win that one. But sometimes on different ones.
Right.
Because sometimes you sound like you're exhausted
and sad.
and depressed.
Yeah.
And you can't figure out what's happening.
Yeah, I wake up at 3 a.m. I am sad and depressed. What do you guys want from me?
Plus,
I'm exhausted.
You're just trying to focus on your career, you know.
I think that moving too fast.
Oh, wow. You do a good impression of it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the forward one. Okay, so another one of our favorite segments of the year. Do you want to do yours next? Should I do mine?
Yeah, I mean, so mine is one where people come up to me and say this line to me all the time. And I actually have to think about, right. They're referring to a situation that happened with my mother-in-law. They say the line, put it in the bag.
This is maybe my favorite story you've ever brought to the show.
Well,
we need more put it in the bag moments.
It's a true story. And I felt so bad telling the story because my mother-in-law, she's 90 and she came to stay with us. And while she was staying with us, a bunch of things happened and it was just so funny. It was hilarious. I had to share the story. I didn't want to make fun of her because she has the best intentions.
Right.
But now that we do this and now that you're going to hear it, this has become a thing.
I will say, out of all the stories you've ever brought to the show, I think this one got the biggest response on the text line and the phone line. So clearly you're not alone with mother-in-laws.
Here it is. Put it in the bag.
So my mother-in-law has been staying with us. She stayed with us for a full week.
Ooh, fun.
Yes. Usually when she comes over, she stays for a couple of days. She brings her overnight bag. This time she stayed for a full week. And it was just so lovely to have her with the kids. The kids got to be around her and she got to be around them, which
That's
is
nice.
Just so nice for them to bond. I will say, though, she's almost 90.
Wow.
And she doesn't get out much. So when it comes to, I guess, sort of, being able to get things for herself, she doesn't really do that anymore. So she kind of relies on my brother-in-law who she lives with and, other family members. So anyway, she came over and it was really great. And she said to me, in Bodhi's room, because that's where she's staying, she's like, I saw there's some coconut oil. And I'm like, mm-hmm. She's like, I put it in my bag.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm like,
Like her overnight bag?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. She's like, you can buy another one. I'm like, sure, no problem. Yeah, just take it. It's fine.
Coconut oil is expensive.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say, but yeah, she needs some, so it's fine.
Okay.
And then I was like, I bought you your favorite cookies. She has a specific Peak Freen's brand crunch that she's
all
into.
Indian people love those Peak Freens.
She dips it in her tea.
Yes.
So I thought she'd be very excited when I showed her the box. I was like, look, I got your favorite cookies. She's like, put it in the bag. And I was like, I go, no, I brought them so you can eat them now. And she's like, how much was it? And I'm like, $250. She's like, buy another one for your house. Put that one in my bag. I'm like, okay.
Does she think your house is the grocery store?
I'm not sure. And then she's like, can I borrow a comb? I gave her the comb. She's like, put it in the bag. It's like, okay. She's like, you have an eyebrow pencil? I'm like, sure. Put it in the bag. And then I started to live in fear that everything I gave her, she just wanted to take home.
You have to just start saying no if she starts requesting like nice stuff. Like she's like,
No.
do you have a husband? Yep. Put him in the bag.
She noticed we got a case of glassware and she's like, oh, there's so many glasses. You bought so many glasses. I said, yeah, my glasses keep breaking. She's like, my glasses are also breaking. And she's staring at the box, staring at me. And I'm like, would you like half the glasses? She's like, put it in the bag. So I did.
bag?
I know, there's like a magic bag.
So here's the thing. It's time for her to leave. And now she's got this massive bag filled with things from my home, which is fine.
It's like Mr. Dress-Up's tickle trunk.
Yes. And she's like, I need a new laundry basket. And I was like, oh, okay, I can order you one. She's like, just give me this one. So she took the kids' clothes.
Like your hamper.
The hamper. And it's quite large. And then she realized she had so much in the bag that, it wasn't really going to fit the giant hamper.
Tell
so
me
she's
she
like,
put the bag in the hamper.
She's like, put that bag in the hamper. So she left my house with a giant hamper filled with a bag, filled with stuff in my home. And I was afraid by the end of it. She's like, Cien Body, put them in the bag.
Now you're a minimalist.
Yes.
I am crying, laughing, listening to this again.
So when people come up to me and they say, put it in the bag, like right away, I'm like, okay, they heard the story. And my family now, it's the running joke. I didn't know how my in-laws were going to feel about it. She lives with my brother-in-law. They all make the joke now. So when they come over, they're like, oh, how was it? Mom stayed with you for a couple of days. What did she put in the bag? Like it's the running joke. And I even asked Paul before we did that on air. I said,
right, because it's his mom.
It's his mom. And so I asked him, I said, we're going to talk about mom staying over and, just all the funny things. Because he and I talked about it and we laughed. I was like, are you okay with me, telling everyone about it?
And he's like, no.
He was laughing so hard. He thought it was hilarious. He's like, yes, tell that story. It's so fun.
Okay. Has your mother-in-law heard it?
No.
Well, Pooja, we have a surprise for
No!
you. Listening in from the booth next door.
No!
What do you think her reaction would be if she heard it?
I think she'd put me in a bag and throw me in the garbage in the dumpster and then light it on fire.
I'm picturing your mother-in-law like Santa, like big red sack and just everything is in it.
That's what happens. And so now I actually will buy like 2 of everything just in case. Because if she likes something, she wants to take it home.
You know what would have been the perfect bow on top of this? Like Christmas just passed. If you open up your Christmas gift from your mother-in-law and it's like half your glasses, or it's like it's coconut oil. It's like half used coconut oil.
I was like, oh, I wanted that back. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Okay, so I think the thing that I shared this year that maybe resonated the most was just like a story that I wasn't even sure if I should share on the show. I wrote it down in my journal and I told you guys behind the scenes what happened. And you guys all had such a big reaction. You were like, you have to tell this on the air. And this was when I went to Starbucks and I encountered what I refer to as a gaggle. And I stand by that, a gaggle of like grade 9 or 10 girls. And was it bullying? I don't know. Did I get bullied? I got intimidated by a bunch of grade 9 or 10 girls. And
I think the reason why, and you're about to hear it, why it's so hilarious is one, gaggle. Who says gaggle?
that's how you refer to a large group of grade 9 girls.
Yeah, someone who's intimidated by them says gaggle. And it's hilarious because we're all trying to picture you in a scenario where you're uncomfortable because you don't know what to do when faced with high schoolers.
And based on the response this got, clearly I was not alone. People were more angry than I was.
True.
People were like, you should have told them off. You should have taught them a lesson. I'm like, I'm not looking for conflict.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's what happened. I had something happen to me yesterday that I've never experienced before.
Uh-oh.
And I need you two to tell me if I was in the wrong. Am I making too big of a deal of it? So I was in Etobicoke and I went to the Metro at Eglinton and Martin Grove. My mom wanted a couple things from the grocery store. And there's a Starbucks in there. So I'm like, ooh, I'm going to grab my coffee as well. So as I'm approaching the Starbucks and I'm holding a couple of groceries, a gaggle of schoolgirls walked in. They must have been like grade 9 or 10, whatever, and like just 6 or 7 of them. And they're kind of meandering up to the Starbucks lineup, but not quite in the lineup.
Sorry, can you call a group of girls who are like teeny boppers
a gaggle?
A gaggle?
I think so. So I'm kind of standing there with groceries in my hand, and they're not quite in line, but they're blocking the line. So I was being polite. So I just said to one of them, I go, "Oh, are you guys in line?" Thinking she'd say, "No, go ahead." And then I'm looking at the woman at the counter, and she's just standing there like no one is ordering. So
Oh, she's open.
She's open. She's fully open. So I
okay.
thought, let me just blow by. I'm just ordering a flat white. So the girl says, "Yeah, we're in line." So then I'm like standing there going, "Oh gosh, maybe I should have just blown by. I shouldn't have asked." And I wait there, and they're not moving. They're not at all aware of the fact that I'm just standing there with groceries in my hand, and they're just taking their own sweet time. So then I go, okay, I got to get moving. So I just say, as I start to walk by them, and I go, "Do you mind if I just squeeze by to get a quick order in?" And the girl kind of said, okay. And so then I went and I start ordering. And as I'm ordering, I hear one of the girls, I don't know who said it, one of them goes, "Do you mind if I just squeeze by to get a quick order in?"
Oh, mocking you? Was it my daughter? Was my daughter there?
I was so, and I'm like, what do I do? My brain was, it was like I was playing Can't Be Gurdeep, and my brain was processing. I was like, do I turn around? Do I say something? Do I like make a lighthearted joke? Do I get angry and try to like, tell them to respect their elders? Do I like
Respect your elders?
They were like 13.
You would have got
I'm
mocked
40.
again
I
right
know.
there.
And then I'm like, what would Fraser Crane do? So I'm like, my back got all stiff. I got my drink. I got out of there, and I sat in the car driving home going, what the heck? I'm like, am I the old guy now that gets mocked by grade 9s? I don't know. What would you guys have done?
This is my life every day with my daughter. So I don't even know what to do. This is how my mind works here. I'm like, do I say something to her? Do I ignore it? Because you don't know if it's going to get worse. Yeah. And that's the thing is if you've ever argued with a teenager, and it would turn into an argument. Like if you said something back, then you would just get something. It would just keep going. And you would always look like the fool.
6 of them. They would have teamed up on me.
Yes. 100%. Well, it's like, I don't want you to say something that might traumatize them. Like, you just don't know, right? You don't know. That's a tough one. I almost feel like I can relate to this from like, elementary school when somebody says something to you and then you wanted to come back, but you couldn't come up with it on the spot. And then 3 days later, you're like, if I ever get the chance, respect your elders. Respect your elders.
The jerk store called, and they're running out of you.
Is it weird that re-listening to that, I'm sweating all over again, reliving that? I'm going to call it trauma. I'm reliving that trauma.
I am sweating for you because I truly don't know what I would have done in that scenario. But now you've had time to think about it. You've had a long time to think about it. Have you come up with what you should have said or maybe could have done in that moment?
First off, am I the only one picturing it like the Terminator when he's seeing his options, like in the red screen? It's like A, respond, B, ignore, C,
There is no
terminate.
response. It was just like, be quiet and run. That's what the response was.
As much as I would have liked to turn around with a quick snarky comment that would have made them think, wow, that guy's quick and witty.
They wouldn't have thought that about you.
I think the best route was what I did, which was don't engage.
Right.
Pretend you don't hear and move on.
I would have loved that if you did, like, let's say you said something like respect your elders, if that they just were like, get them. Yeah. And then they all just ran after you and started kicking you while you were down. I got a whole visual. I mean, hopefully you wouldn't get too hurt.
And then they all would have videoed it and you would have been on social media.
I'm on 6 Buzz.
No.
Loser 40-year-old gets tackled at Starbucks.
You mind if I just sneak in?
You mind if I just squeeze mine real quick? Honestly, if I did it again, I wouldn't have, and this sounds mean, I wouldn't have asked. I would have just gone by and would have just said nothing. Because they were just sitting there admiring like the tumbler mugs, not even doing anything.
That gaggle of girls. How dare they?
Oh, it still hurts. Okay, so we're going to do one more moment, Pooch.
Yes. So I think we all worry about AI taking over our jobs, taking over the world. And the speed at which AI is moving, we should all sort of be concerned because there's not a lot of regulations around it. And there's ways that you can use
It's the
it
Wild
badly.
West, man.
Yes.
And it's learning exponentially. Like
yes.
it's AI has already eaten the whole internet. It has consumed the whole internet. And there are massive companies, like it's either Google or Microsoft, that's creating a facility just to create new information to feed the beast so it can keep. It's already eaten the internet. You know how long it takes me to read one article?
And it's like it's digested it, it's moving on to dessert or whatever it might be. And we do a lot of AI breaks on our show. We talk about AI a lot. You even put into ChatGPT for AI to figure out who we are on this show and come up with a script. It spit it out. And it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good.
It was believable for the most part.
Yeah, like it fit my personality. It fit your personality because over time you've fed it enough things that it's learned you and me.
But you know what it was missing though is like because we're live and because we improv, like we said, inevitably we both have stumbles. We both have like things, little bits of humanity, and that's what, at least to this point. I mean, if we do this a year from now, maybe it will capture that je ne sais quoi. But for now, it doesn't have those little human error moments.
Yes.
Those brain farts.
Agreed. And I think like I have many of them. You have many of them on the show. And in this particular...
I think you have more.
No, I'm pretty sure yours are there too.
Steph?
Uh-oh.
Who has more brain farts?
I don't like when you guys put me on the spot, but Pooja wins this time.
You win,
Darn
Pooja.
it. The difference is that Pooja has them all the time, but when you have them, they're bigger than all of her little ones.
That's true.
They're big farts.
Right, yeah. Bigger farts.
They're rippers. They're brain rippers.
Right. Hers are just like, sometimes they just squeak by.
Yeah, Pooja's are brain silent but deadlies. And mine are brain rippers.
But she does have more of them.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. And this is a perfect example of when that happened to me. I was trying to tell you about something that happened at a wedding with a father and daughter. And as I'm telling the story in real time, I mess it up. And then you just have no choice but to respond or make fun of me in that moment. We know that weddings don't always go to plan. There's so much pressure on that day for it to be perfect. Inevitably, something is going to go wrong. You got to sort of roll with it, right? Mm-hmm. You won't believe what happened at this one wedding with this dad who was supposed to walk his daughter down the aisle.
As dads do.
As dads do. So everything up until this point is going to plan. You hear the music, all rise. Everybody stands for the bride to walk in. You hear the dun, 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 dun. I don't even know if that sounds like a graduation.
That's a graduation song.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a wedding?
I
was like, wait, what just happened?
Have you ever been to a wedding?
I graduated and got married on the same day.
You
Anyway.
like the father walks down the aisle in his cap and gown.
Dun, 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 dun. And dad walks out, starts walking.
In a wedding dress?
No, he's just walking in his suit. He's all ready to go. And as he's walking, someone from the staff had to come and pull him because they're like, sir, you forgot the bride, i.e. your daughter. You have to go back.
He walked down the aisle without his daughter, the bride?
Yes. He heard the music and just, I guess, instinctually just was like, okay, this is my part.
It's because he heard the graduation music.
Yeah, he's like, it's my time. I'm summa cum laude.
I have my commencement speech ready.
I wonder, I would like to know if the father's been married several times because maybe it was just like reflex muscle memory.
I don't know what. Like, it could have been he was just sort of in a daze. There's so much pressure. There's so much going on, emotions. So he's like sprinting down the aisle. Everybody's looking for the bride. He's sent back, gets his daughter. They have a good laugh about it. It's all fine in the end.
That's amazing.
But you don't forget the bride.
No, I've never, you know what? I've seen a lot of wedding mishaps. I have not seen that particular thing happen. That's new.
Yeah, that is. Have you ever been to a wedding where something went like horribly wrong?
Totally. I was at a wedding once and the bride was about to walk down the aisle, but then instead of the wedding song, they played the graduation song.
Guys, I just tone deaf, okay? I hear music different than everyday people.
Totally different song.
So that is a perfect example of we had a plan going in. Something unplanned happened with you doing the graduation song instead of the wedding march, and we just ended up taking it somewhere completely different and better, I dare say.
Well, the problem is that it's not just one of you making fun of me, it's the whole room, and you guys won't let me move on. Like, you can hear I'm trying to move on with the story.
You tried to get it back on the rails several times.
Yeah, you just brought it back
That's
each
right.
time, which if you think about it with your, like, some of your best friendships and closest
You said breast.
relationships.
She said breast. Get her. She said breast. Get her.
Graduation
This is a perfect example. This is a perfect example.
This is like Inception. You made a mistake in the break where we're talking about making mistakes.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least you know I'm not perfect.
At least we know you're not AI.
Yes. And this is my point, is that with your friends, this is what you do. Your closest friends, you know
breast
you can
friends.
go there.
Your breast
friends.
Those are the best kind of friends. What?
This is what I mean. How am I supposed to get any work done on this show?
You can't.
If you guys keep on derailing things.
Listen, I just like to point out that I have not had one brain ripper this whole podcast, but it being the end of 2024, I love you guys, and I'm very much looking to many more Pooja brain farts in 2025.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I will say that I think I speak for everyone when I say that you guys are also our breast friends.
Yes, you are. Also, if you had a favorite segment that we didn't cover, let us know in the comments. Was there a segment that you loved that we missed? We appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.